Good morning, students. Today we will see about History Unit 3 from Chiefdoms to Empires. Students, listen carefully. Make a note of each and every important points in your social classwork note. If you have any doubt, make a note of it. The doubts will be clarified on the reopening day. Now let us recall what are all the topics we have discussed in the previous session. Mauryan Empire, India's first empire. Capital, Pataliputra. Government, monarchy. Historical era, 322 BC BCE, 187 BC BCE. Important kings, Chandragupta, Ashoka, Bindusara. First, let us see about Chandragupta Maurya. The Mauryan was the first largest empire in India. Bindusara. The real name of Bindusara was Simhasena. He was a son of Chandragupta Maurya. Greeks called as Amitragada. Amitra means slayer of enemies. Ashoka, the king of his cruelty. Ashoka was the most famous of the Mauryan kings. He was known as Devanpiya, meaning beloved of the gods. Chandasoka to Dhammasoka. That is, Chandasoka means the merciless or cruel Ashoka. Dhammasoka means the follower of Dharma. Now let us see the noble ideas of humanity. He laid stress on compassion, charity, purity, saintliness, self-control, truthfulness, and obedience. In this session today we are going to see Mauryan administration. Students, before that let us see the edicts of Ashoka. The 33 edicts on the pillar as well as shoulders and cave walls made by the Emperor Ashoka. Ashoka inscriptions can be classified into three types. One is pillar edicts, major rock edicts, minor rock edicts. These inscriptions revolve around a few themes only. Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism and his efforts to spread Buddhism, his moral and religious concepts, and his social and animal welfare program. Students, do you know an edict is an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority or a king? Now let us see about the script of the inscription. At Sanchi, Brahmi. At Kandahar, Greek and Aramaic. At northwestern part, Pashto. Students, the Brahmi script is the earliest system developed in India after the Hindu script. It is one of the most influential writing systems. All modern Indian scripts and several hundred scripts found in Southeast and East Asia are derived from only Brahmi language. And then the Aramaic inscription of Kandahar. It is an inscription of a fragment of block of limestone. It was discovered in the ruins of old Kandahar. Students, it was discovered practically at the time of Greek edicts. These inscriptions were more or less conjoined. The inscription was written in Aramaic, since Aramaic was the official language of the Achaemenid Empire. At northwestern part, Kharoshthi. Students, around this time, another script also developed in the region, known as Kharoshthi, which remains dominant in the Indus Valley region. Now let us see about the centralized administration of Mauryan administration. It was classified into king, revenue system, judicial system. First, let us see about the centralized administration of king. The king was a supreme and sovereign authority of the Mauryan Empire. Council of ministers known as Mantri Parishad assisted the king. King had an excellent spy system. Students, as we already know that the king was a center of administrative superstructure and king his first duty is diligence. Megasthenes has spoken about the arrangements in the royal palace and the precautions taken for ensuring the safety. When king issued from the palace, his route was guarded by armed soldiers. The princes were trained carefully and employed in situations suited to their capacity. He should be employed in the affairs of state or permitted to sit on the throne. The king was assisted by the number of ministers. The priest in a separate and highly respected category by himself alone assisted the king. Prohit, Senapati, a Mahamandri and the Yuvaraja are also assisted by the king only. Revenue system. Ashokan inscription at Lumbini mentions Bali and Baha as taxes collected from people. The land tax collected was 1 by 6 of the total produce. Students, revenue system of Mauryan Empire was devised by the Prime Minister of Chandragupta Maurya, Kautilya. The main heads of revenues were a share of land output, other dues and cesses levied on land including a water rate. Land revenue had been recognized as a major source of state income before the Mauryas. According to the Arthashastra, every activity from agriculture to gambling might be subjected to taxation by the state. No wasteland should be occupied nor a single tree cut down in the forest without permission from the state, since they were all ultimately sources of revenue. Revenue from taxes on forest, mines, salt, and irrigation provided additional revenue to the government. They were also collected taxes on forest, mines, salt, and irrigation. Much of the state revenue was spent on paying the army, the officials of the royal government, on charities, and on different public works such as irrigation, project, road construction, etc. Now let us see about judicial system. The king was the head of the judiciary. He was the highest court of appeal. King appointed many judges subordinate to him. The punishment were harsh. The judicial administration in Mauryan Empire has been described in Arthashastra. The king was the highest judicial officer. The king could no longer make himself personally responsible for the entire administration of justice. Mauryan administration is known for its judicial system. The Grama Sabha was the lowest judicial unit. The courts at Sangrahan and Janapatha levels were above it. The punishments were harsh. Penalties were imposed on those who break the law. Monetary fines were imposed for ordinary crimes. Capital punishment was practiced. As per the Arthashastra, Penalties in the Mauryan period were based on caste the person belongs to. Military administration. The king was the supreme commander of the army. A board of 30 members divided into 6 committees with 5 members on each. The Mauryas maintained a large standing army. It was adequate for all its needs of controlling very large empire. The chariots, cavalry, elephants and infantry were the main composition of the force. The Astra Shastra mentions the organization for chariots, elephants and cavalry. The infantry carried bows and arrows. The bows was made of the same height as that of the soldier who carried it. There were 6 varieties of chariots according to the role in battle: one for training, one for marching, 3 for battle, 2 for duties of war. The chariots were two-wheeled, four-wheeled, and eight-wheeled. Now let us see about the municipal administration of Mauryan Empire. Board of 30 members divided into 6 committees. Each had 5 members to manage the administration of the city. Town administration was called Nagarika. He was assisted by Danika and Gopa. Students, Megasthenes described that Pataliputra city was administered by a city council comprising 30 members. These 30 members were divided into board of 5 members each. Each of the 5 members boards had specific responsibilities towards the administration of city. One such board was concerned with the industrial and artistic produce. Its duties including fixing of wages, check the adulteration, etc. The second board dealt with the affairs of the visitors, especially foreigners who came to Pataliputra. The third board was concerned with the registration of birth and death. The fourth board regulated the trade and commerce. Students, do you know the Junahar Grinar inscription of Rudradaman records that the construction of water reservoir known as Sudarshana Lake was begun during the time of Chandragupta Maurya and completed during Ashoka's reign. Now let's just see the currency of Mauryan Empire. The punch-marked silver coins which carry the symbols of the peacock and the hill, and the crescent copper coins called mashtakas formed the imperial currency. Punch-marked coins are the type of yearly coinage of India, dating to between about the 6th and 2nd centuries BC. It was of irregular shape. The punch-marked coins are the type of yearly coinage of India. Students, keep in mind it was the type of yearly coinage of India. The study of the relative chronology of these coins has successfully established that the first punch-marked coins initially only had 1 or 2 punches, with the number of punches increasing over time. Trade and urbanization. Trade flourished particularly with Greece, Malaya, Ceylon, and Burma. The flourishing trade and crafts and growing use of money was an incentive to the growth of new towns. Vaishali, Pataliputra, Varanasi, Kausambi, Stravasti, Madura, Indraprastha were some of the prosperous towns of North India during the Kushan period. The Arthashastra refers to the regions producing specialized styles Kasi, Vanga, Kamarupa and Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Several towns flourished in the Punjab and western Uttar Pradesh also. All these places were situated in the heart of their respective empires. Particularly, the kings ensured the security of the trade routes, which was one of the causes for the prosperity of these towns. The main exports in the Mauryan Empire were spices, pearls, diamonds, ivory works, conch shells, and the main imports in the Mauryan Empire were horses, gold, linen, etc. Now let us see the Mauryan art and architecture. Indigenous art, statues of yakshas and yakshis, royal art, palaces and public buildings, monolithic pillars, rock and architecture, stupas. Indigenous art only describes about the statues of yakshas and yakshis. The royal art implies the architectural works in the form of pillars, stupas, and palaces, commissioned by the Mauryan rulers for political as well as religious reasons. Palaces. Megasthenes described the palace of the Mauryan Empire as one of the greatest creation of mankind, and Chinese traveler Fahin called Mauryan palaces as God-gifted monuments. Monolithic pillars. Ashoka pillars, usually made of Chuna sandstone, as a symbol of the state, assumed a great significance in the entire Mauryan Empire. Students, do you know about Yakshas and Yakshis? Yakshas were deities connected with water, fertility, trees, the forest, and wilderness. Yakshis were their female counterpart. Now let us see about stupas. A stupa is a semi-spherical dome-like structure constructed on brick or stone. The Buddha's relics were placed in the center of the dome. Monolithic pillar. Students, we are all aware of our national emblem with the carving of four lines being used in all government bonds, passports, stamp papers, court stamps, etc. This unique carving once topped one of the Ashoka's pillar at Sarnath. The great Mauryan king Ashoka during the reign in the 3rd century BC erected what are later called pillars of Ashoka. They were built at Buddhist monasteries. The columns carry inscriptions addressed to the monks and nuns. The Ashoka pillars are the series of columns dispersed across the Indian subcontinent, erected or at least inscribed with edicts by the ruler. Now let us see the interesting facts about Ashoka pillars. They are the earliest known stone pillars with inscriptions, and in the earlier period before 3rd century BC, only wooden pillars topped by animal structures in copper metal existed. The average height of the pillars is 40 to 50 feet, each weighing as much whopping 50 tons. These pillars were meant to commemorate the visit of Ashokas to those places. The Ashoka's pillars edicts are mainly monolithic, that is, cut out a single piece of stone, they do not stand on base. The inscriptions have definite cultural and religious connotations. Now let us see the reasons for the decline of the Mauryan Empire. Ashoka's successors were very weak. Continuous revolts in different parts of the empire. The weakness of the later Maurya is established by the fact that the Puranic and other literary sources do not show agreement regarding the order of succession. It clearly indicates that no single son of Ashoka was capable of ruling over the entire Mauryan Empire. That proves the weakness of the later Mauryas It is also known that what happened to Ashoka's another son by Queen Karuvaki, strong or weak to succeed the Mauryan throne. Last Maurya ruler Briharadha was killed by his commander Pushyamitra Sunga, who established Sunga dynasty. When the Maurya rule was thus weakening and the empire was breaking up within the half century after Ashoka's death, there finally came a death blow to it by an internal revolt. This revolt was led by the chief of the Maurya army, General Pushyamitra, in about 185 or 186 BC, when the Maurya king Brihadrada ruled in Magadha. General Pushyamitra was a Brahmin, though in army profession. The Purana states that Pushyamitra, the Senapati, will rule the kingdom by assassinating his own master. The famous author of Ashacharitra describes the incident, saying that Pushyamitra held a parade of army to which he invited the king to witness, and thus created an occasion to kill him on the spot with the support of this army. Now let us see the ancient name and its modern name. Rajagriha, Rajgir, Pataliputra, Patna, Kalinga, Odisha. Now let us see about the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is the world's largest wall and biggest ancient architecture. Its winding path over rugged country and steep mountains takes in some great scenery. The official length is 21,196.18 km. The Great Wall is more than 2,300 years old. Nearly 1 by 3 of the Great Wall has disappeared without trace. In December 1987, the Great Wall was placed on the World Heritage List by UNESCO. The Great Wall of China is not one long wall, but in fact several shorter structures joined together. The longest section is approximately 2,145 miles. The Great Wall of China is the longest man-made structure in the world. Over 1 million people died building the Great Wall of China. Archaeologists have found human remains, and as a result, it has been described as the longest cemetery on earth. Now let us see about the Temple of Zeus at Olympia. The Temple of Zeus is a Doric temple in the sanctuary at Olympia. Olympia was a site of the ancient Olympic Games. Students, we all know that the modesty was not among the virtues of Roman emperors. How much do you think that each of the temple's columns weighs? Well, not less than 364 tons. The 104 columns of the temple were colossal, stretching at the height of 7 meters above the ground. Now let us recap the important points from chiefdoms to the empires. 6th century BC forms an important landmark as it witnessed the emergence of 16 Magadjanapadas. Among the 16 Magadjanapadas, Magadha emerged as an empire. Magadha was ruled by 4 dynasties: the Haryana, the Shishunaga, the Nanda, and the Maurya dynasty. Chandragupta Maurya established the Mauryan Empire. Ashoka was the most famous of the Mauryan kings. Ashoka's pillar and rock edicts enlighten us on his ideas of Dhamma. Now let us see today's activity. Which inscription records the construction of Sudarshana Lake? Who was the last Nanda ruler?